Put a new face on an old kitchen. The Home Depot's cabinet experts can reface your kitchen cabinets for a mini makeover in a fraction of the time. And right now, you can get an extra 15% off. Our licensed local experts can get the job done right away. So don't face another year in an outdated kitchen. Try refacing it. Get huge savings now. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through April 25th, 2018. License numbers available at homedepot.com/license numbers, including 85434-42144.
Hi, I'm Stunning Stella Cheeks.
And I'm the Enigma Erin Klein.
And this is Not Your Demographic, a feminist wrestling podcast.
Shockingly, those exist.
One of these things is not like the other.
I feel like I already fucked up because I'm not super blazed right now. But if you want, I can talk about queer poly dynamics, so that'll kind of bridge it so that she's still here.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. As you know, Erin is on her honeymoon in Germany, so we have a new co-host. Not permanent, don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm only here for
Oh my god.
If you want to take a vacation from the podcast or
whatever. No! And if we sound like crispy, buttery NPR radio voices, because Stella got a new setup.
Welcome to Stella's new setup. The microphones are floating in air.
They are, because I'm sure you got sick of, and I also got sick of the little taps when we slammed our wine glasses down.
The table taps. And I could also just picture the two of you two opposing drinking birds leaning in and out of one microphone.
Yeah. So now we have two microphones and they're floating in the air. I have an interface and Robbie taught me everything. So for those of you who don't know, this is Right This Way Robbie.
Hi, I'm Robbie.
Formerly known as Bobby.
I'm still known as Bobby. Yeah.
He just was like, well, you're using your stripper name. I want to use my stripper name.
Well, and I've used Robbie in other projects outside of this as well. So
it's Robbie on Getting Slutty.
Yeah.
He has a podcast known as Getting Slutty. It's all about queer poly dynamics.
It's absolutely completely different than this.
If you love all that shit that Erin talks about, listen to.
Yeah, we can plug stuff. We can plug stuff at the end of this, but yeah, that's gonna.
Nobody makes it to the end.
Oh, that's right. That's right. These are a marathon. I guess just look me up on Twitter at haberdasher9k.
I'll link it. That is, nobody knows how to spell that.
Yeah, right. But that's the challenge, right? That's the
this
journey.
Is a shout out to Hard Times. You're definitely the new Megan, where you have a handle that nobody can spell.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had that handle since Twitter started. So
since Twitter started,
right? That's it. I'm
in a world.
Now. I own Twitter.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm doing okay. It's been a lot of wrestling this week to get ready for a podcast.
Oh, welcome to my fucking life.
I guess I'm now sinking into where the two of you have been intake-wise for the past couple of years to do a weekly wrestling podcast. That shit's fucking impressive.
It is intense, and I even feel like we miss out on stuff. I don't get to watch New Japan, and I feel ROH is whatever, but I don't watch that anymore, even though there are people I like Dalton and whatnot. But
because it's not about what you want, it's the consumer.
Also, WWE is just easily accessible because it's on my TV. And thankfully, I don't get Sinclair Broadcasting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
double-edged sword. Wrestling and politics and drinking.
There's going to be a little bit of politics this episode, so deal with it. I guess for those of you who don't know me, I guess
we should do a real introduction.
I guess I would be your burlesque brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a fun story. It's my favorite story to tell. When me and Robbie were working together at Gorilla Tango Burlesque, which is trash, and R.I.P. be dead forever, please. People would always be like, because we have this dynamic where we've known each other for almost 10 years now. We interact. He is like my brother, but so we have a very jokey and playful dynamic. And people would be like, are Stella and Robbie dating? Are they sleeping together? And we'd be like, ew, no, gross, oh.
Never even for a moment has there been the slightest bit of sexual tension between the two
So
of us.
much so that one time, this is a true story, Stella's Dream Corner, I had a dream that me and Robbie were dying. We were Thelma and Louise style in a convertible flying off of a cliff. And Robbie looks at me and goes, so should we like have sex or something? And I go, ew, no, let's just die.
Let's just die.
And then I woke up. Presumably we just died with our clothes intact.
Right. I hope I was wearing like a very flowing Jericho-esque headscarf.
Oh, you would have looked so pretty.
Right, because it's Thelma and Louise, so the scarf's gotta kind of like flow in the wind.
I got it. It was my dream. So in the vein of getting to know you, I thought it would be fun to do a little questionnaire. So I found a questionnaire from Tiger Beat magazine. And that is what we're going to do. There's a couple, not your demographic, wrestling specific ones, but I thought before we get into too much wrestling that we're going to do this Tiger Beat questionnaire.
Dope. Let's do this.
How would your mother describe you in one word?
Mom would straight up call me weird. Like in an endearing way, but she would call me weird.
What is your favorite flower?
Tulips.
Ew.
Dude.
The way you said it, you were like, tulips. Then you gave me a look.
I went to school before diction. Tulips.
With Aiden English.
Same school, yeah.
What is the most insane question you've ever been asked?
What is the most insane question I've ever been asked?
What word in the English language do you wish you had invented?
Gazebo.
You had that ready.
That's my favorite word, yeah.
Where in the world would you like to live?
I love Chicago. I've grew up right outside of Chicago. I've never wanted to live anywhere else other than Chicago. But sometimes a lot of eastern cities sound really awesome, especially with the current political climate. So, like, I hear a lot of cities in Germany feel really good right now. Maybe something like middle of the road European, so there's still a good mix of people.
You'll have to ask Erin when she gets back.
Yeah.
What is the first quote that comes to your mind?
Don't dream it, be it was like the first thing that popped into my head. So I guess I'm like a basic bitch Rocky Horror kid right now.
What animal best describes what kind of person you're interested in sexually?
Sexually?
Yes, sexually. Or as for like a partnership.
So like I usually describe myself as like an otter. So I guess I'm looking for more of I think some like bear or wombat type creature. Like,
okay.
Like something a little comfy to snuggle up to.
Just comfy snuggles. What do you miss about your childhood?
Freedom from financial responsibilities.
Too real.
Too real.
If you could change your name, what would you change it to?
I don't like Bruce is a cool name, right? That's such a weird question.
That's going to be my father-in-law. My father-in-law's name is Bruce. Bruce. It is a weird question. This is 1967 Tiger Beat magazine. No, that's a dumb one. Okay.
Because the others were so not fucking dumb.
This is what the question is, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to ask.
All right.
What is your favorite historical figure? That's the question. How I'm going to say it is if you had a time machine and you could go back in time and fuck somebody from the past, who would it be? Consensually.
Oh my God. I would actually, I'd go back and I'd have sex with consensually Edgar Allan Poe, because I think he'd be like super dramatic in bed, and he would just be like, oh, your lips and I will write this
or he'd be like really sad.
Fuck a bird. Oh, he'd be really sad.
Fuck a bird.
But like, I mean, yeah, God,
that's the quote that I think of now.
Yeah, right.
How would you describe how you kiss in one word? Gross.
Yeah. What answer here is not going to be fucking gross? How do you describe how you kiss in one word?
This.
Oh yeah, these are going to be great for like ASMR audio if you want to just. Oh, here, let me drink this wine into these new microphones.
That's how I kiss.
Like a thirsty kitten. That's not one word.
People are like, "Is this a wrestling podcast?"
I've already fucked up your viewership.
Finish this sentence. Happiness is a thing called
impermanence.
What is a dangerous thing you'd like to try?
Ecstasy.
Erin, if Erin was here, she'd be like, well, I have some right now, right into my pocket.
Yeah, well, you know me, and so you understand why I don't take many drugs.
Yes. Okay, real questions. No. Why do you like wrestling?
I think it is the most entertaining blend of sport and performance art that exists in the world. I think wrestling can be whatever the performer wants it to be, and that the theater nerd in me finds that really beautiful. It's such a malleable form and yet so physical and so acceptable because it is a physical art that it can just be whatever the performer wants it to be. And I think that's really awesome and gives innumerable amount of possibilities for what it could be.
Who is your favorite wrestler? And if it's different, do you have an all-time favorite wrestler and your favorite wrestler now?
Wow. Okay. Those are like big ones, right?
Right.
You're trying to
These
you're
are
trying to
the
choose
big
between like
ones.
favorite bands, right? Like favorite songs even.
I don't know. I don't really like music.
Stella Cheeks has
I like music.
Stella Cheeks has seen me get very personally nervous when attempting to approach Chuck Taylor.
Oh, yeah. And that was like before I even was watching wrestling. Because Robbie took me to my first ever independent wrestling show before I got back into wrestling. And I was like mostly just sexually attracted to everyone. But I saw El Generico.
It was a great show.
It was really good.
It was a DGUSA show. She saw Johnny Gargano. She saw El Generico, Chuck Taylor, the Smash Brothers, a bunch of Japanese talent as well, yeah.
Somebody who was really hot, and in retrospect, in my head, they look like Cage, but they're not Cage.
I don't remember who that could possibly be there. You were attracted to Stu Grayson of the Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah, I'm attracted to wrestlers.
Yeah, wrestlers.
Okay, so favorite wrestler.
Favorite wrestler, like all time? I mean, shit. Liger's got to be up there. Sasuke's got to be up there. I'm trying to think of also like American people. Like, because I'm 34 years old. I grew up as a kid watching wrestling. Like, Taker's up there for nostalgia because it's Taker. And I'll say Manami Toyota.
Who?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Manami Toyota is a female Joshi wrestler. And it's
So-
like the female woman Hulk Hogan. Like a big deal.
Okay, so are those your all-time favorite wrestlers? And are those different than
I'll say all time. And then right now it's going to be
Chuck Taylor?
Chuck Taylor. For like what he does in wrestling and outside of wrestling. I'll also go with Sami Zayn for similar reasons. Kota Ibushi for similar reasons. Liger's still wrestling. Who else am I really liking? Meiko Satomura is still really wrestling. Really wrestling. I'm trying to pick like not retired people. And we'll go with... I'm trying to pick like a WWE wrestler.
You don't have
that
to.
I like really, really dig right now though.
I mean, you like jizz in your shorts every time Seth Rollins comes on screen.
Yeah, but that's... Okay, so that is a sexual attraction.
There's
He's
a
also
different
very
question
good wrestler.
for that.
Yes. Also, I very rarely wear shorts. So, just...
Jizz in your jorts.
The John Cena movie.
What is your drink of choice?
I will usually drink bourbon or dark beer. Today, I am drinking
Shitty
cheap
wine.
as fuck wine.
Welcome to the podcast.
Because that's what my bank account deemed I could ingest.
All right, final question before we move on to the actual podcast.
We're doing an actual podcast. This isn't like a weird-ass dating game, kids.
Post getting to know your month-long interim co-host.
Oh my god.
Who is your wrestling boo? Yeah, know who mine is. Drew McIntyre. Thank you so much.
Drew is definitely boo.
Drew is so boo. Drew's like so boo.
I think Kushida's really cute.
Kushida is really cute.
Kushida's just really cute.
Yeah, he can be your boo. I mean, I audibly gasp when Drew comes on.
Yeah.
So, like, that's my level of boo. But if you're
Gotcha.
just like, this is my boo, that's fine.
Yeah. That can be like low-key boo. And then I can objectify other people at a heavier level. Yeah, because I think during that WrestleMania match when it started with Miz and Rollins and Finn, I believe my exact words that I yelled out were, "Choo choo, here comes the meat train."
Oh, that's ridiculous. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a shining moment for me. Also, if you do look up my Twitter, you will see that I often post in all caps, "Sex Rollins." That's just a thing that happens.
That's just a thing I do.
Oh, Hiromu Takahashi's really cute too. And Naito. Maybe I just want to hang out with Los Ingobernables.
I want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
They seem real fun. But in like we know we're cool. We don't have to try away.
Yeah, right.
And that has been Getting to Know You. With
Sonata could get it.
Sonata can get it. Oh, can we just sit here can we just have a moment of silence for how hot Sonata is? Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Most important question of all. What wrestling shirt are you wearing?
Oh, I actually did a good job, and I'm wearing my Kaiju Attack Wrestling shirt that we bought at the show that we went to a couple weeks ago.
Did you only buy it because you were playing that weird ping pong game with those boys?
No. I bought it because we had a really good experience there.
Yeah.
It seemed like a really low-key punk rock, awesome indie fed that's just starting out, and if I could wear their stuff, and the t-shirt looks cool, I might as well.
It is a cool t-shirt. It's a cool logo.
They have a show this Saturday.
I know. I have to do a thing for school.
And Freelance has a show the same night. So, like, Chicago Wrestling, get it together.
And burlesque.
And also burlesque shows.
I have to go to a burlesque show and do audio recording because I'm doing an audio documentary for my class. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but there are so many promotions in Chicago that it's just what it is.
Well, and I think Freelance is a more established fed where, like, Kaiju Attacks, they're in the Den Theater.
Yeah, but you don't, I think... I know this from, you should know this too, from when we book our shows. Like, you don't know what other people, where their shows are until you book your show. And then you're like, shit, well, I already paid the down deposit.
And
like,
yeah, especially if it's a more up-and-coming venue or two more up-and-coming venues. Like, you're trying to book your shows a year out. And if they happen to fall on the same weekend for, like, whatever, it just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. I am wearing my Demon Bunny shirt. It's a hoodie. I bought it from Rosemary at Shimmer. And I'm wearing it for two reasons. One, it's fucking dope, and I love it. Oh my god!
It's such good, like, chibi anime design.
I just noticed that Rosemary's wearing her own hoodie that says "Join the Hive" on it.
So it's like two shirts in one.
It's two shirts in one. Inception. And Allie's on it, and Impact Wrestling. I almost did it, but I didn't. Impact Wrestling had a great weekend.
Yeah, if you want to start talking about Redemption right off the bat, we can totally do that. I was like an old school TNA fan from like when they started back in the day, and then I phased out when things got real bad. So I tuned back in because I heard Redemption was so good that I gave it a watch as well. Yeah.
So like obviously I watch Impact weekly. I cover it when Kyle gets bored or has life stuff to do. But so I've been invested. I thought it's been pretty good. You know, there was a dip when Matt left because he was driving a lot of the stuff with the Final Deletion stuff, and when Jeremy Borash left, and you know they lost EC3 and Lashley, and so Impact has had notoriously like they have these highs and lows where like they have these big massive like exits, but at least this time it does feel like they're solidifying into something, and I think the partnership with Lucha is really smart and they're handling it really well. Both companies can only benefit from this because Impact Wrestling has this history, like you just said, and Lucha is, everyone loves Lucha and it's great and it's so different, but they have, you know, had to fight for funding and they've had their own contract disputes and this, that. So if you think about it, there's WWE. I would say on the second tier after that, in America at least, there's Impact Wrestling, Lucha, and ROH. And then there's all the other indies, and there's various like hierarchies within that. But those three solidly have television deals and have wider audiences and can sell pay-per-views and things like that. Not at the same level as WWE, obviously, but they are at least the second tier. But on that level, those are such three different shows, and they're all not fighting for the same audiences, but they're fighting to get to almost second place. But it seems like Impact and Lucha have taken themselves out of that running, and they're like, we don't want to be your second place. We want to be good shows, and we're going to work together to be this good show. And it's fucking awesome.
I think Lucha especially established itself as an alternative to WWE more than anything. I mean, they're like full-on fucking telenovela professional wrestling, and it was so good and so fresh when it started. It is so good and so fresh now, and that's why I also think Impact made a really smart business move moving to Canada.
I mean, they pop back and forth from Canada and Orlando, but yeah.
But they're the only company that's doing it right now. I think like the biggest company I could think of in Canada is Smash,
right? And
I mean, I hope they partner up as well. But we're getting a big name company in Canada, getting that market involved as well. I think it's really smart.
And bringing Petey Williams back was smart. And also, I think, you know, Impact has also been going and doing smaller promotions and then putting it on their TV and pushing them. I don't love the way that comes across on TV. I don't think it reads well, but I like the idea behind it. And I hope that they can figure out how to do that in a better way. But I like the idea of pairing up with other companies and be like, we're going to defend the Impact belt and Defy in Seattle. You know, that is cool.
Yeah, you've seen other companies kind of wrestle with that as well, especially with like ROH and their partnership with NJPW, where you just had NJPW talents come in and like steamroll the ROH roster, which kind of pissed off a lot of hardcore ROH fans. It can be a hard balance, but so far, I like that they're bringing the Lucha Underground talents out, especially with what happened at Redemption. They're bringing them out of like the Lucha Underground universe and not negating the Lucha Underground universe, which is what happened with a lot of those talents on the indies. Like, they're recognizing what has happened in Lucha Underground and saying the words Lucha Underground and recognizing the storylines there in a really interesting way.
I think, and weirdly, it works because Lucha Underground, the way that they've situated it themselves, it's the temple itself is a magical place where magical stuff happens. And when you walk through the curtain, it's a different universe. But they know that they talk about AAA and that these people have wrestled other places in the more, quote, natural world. But it's like it's magical realism. Like, so it's okay that you would think that it would be at odds that they shouldn't work together because they are so different. They are two completely different vibes, but I think it actually makes it easier for them to work together because they're the same characters, but they're different because it's a different universe almost. It's
a different comic book writer. It's a different crossover series. It's the same continuity, but different situations, and that's what makes it work for me.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I like the new belts. I think the new belts look great. I did notice that they didn't have a new Grand Championship belt, so I guess that's being phased out. Thank fucking God. That was one of the worst parts of watching Impact for me is when Drew had that belt and I had to pretend to care about that belt. And then EC3 had the belt and I had to pretend to care about that belt. I was like, I'm really happy that my guys have belts, but also like, fuck, these matches suck.
Yeah.
It's like a dumb gimmick. So hopefully that goes away. And really funny that those belts all have owls on them.
Whew. Yes.
Really leading into that fuck the owl. I mean, you know what? Reclaim it.
Absolutely.
Reclaiming my owl.
Own it, reclaim it, keep moving on.
So the first match was Drago versus Aerostar. It was an exhibition match. It was basically like these two famous guys from Lucha that you guys like, and it's a good opener. It's fine. It was a fine match.
Drago and Aerostar wrestle one another all the time. They know each other really well. Like, you're not seeing anything different in that match, but as far as the matches the two of them have, it was a good one.
Right, and it's also a way to highlight Lucha talent without having to think of a storyline, how to put them in Impact, you know?
Absolutely.
So it's just a way to be like, partnership, cool. Everyone loves Aerostar and Drago. Cool.
The one thing that I did note in this match, which made me start to see weird production stuff that happened through there, is they didn't cut away when Drago was spitting out his tongue.
I know the first time I saw him do it live when he was at AEW or something, he like spit it into the ring post. Because it was like an open ring post, and he just leaned down and like spit it through. And I was like,
do you think those are disposable?
Smart. Yeah, I think so. They have to be.
I don't think, because he spit it into his hand at Redemption, but yeah, I think once that's out of your mouth, you don't want that.
You don't want that back. Because then you put it in your hand, or you put it on the mat, or you put it. Yeah. Gross. So, I really like the team of LAX. I think they are very good wrestlers. I hate Conan beyond. I think he represents everything that old school wrestling that's bad about old school wrestling. I think he's misogynistic. I think those guys are good talkers too. They don't really need him. Like, so it was, I'm glad that the King or whoever took Conan out of the equation. I'm glad that he was gone.
People are whispering that that's going to be Eddie Kingston.
I'm gonna fuck.
I know. I said that out loud to you to know your reaction.
So conflicted.
But then I'm gonna divert. Because you said
would rather have Eddie than Conan, though.
Yes, and if we can make that change, I totally agree with it. But you said the words LAX, and then you said Beyond. If you like them, I don't know if you've seen their work as EOFBO in Beyond Wrestling.
I haven't.
Yeah. They're
good wrestlers.
So good, and they work their asses off in Beyond and CZW. They're so great on their own.
It's just hard to like somebody when they're paired up. And like the whole feud with OVE and LAX, it was just like, this is a lot. This is a lot. And like, objectively, LAX are really good wrestlers. And objectively, like, Sami Callihan and OVE are good wrestlers. And these guys put on good matches, but it was just such shit storytelling and misogyny and, like, racism. And, like, it was just too much.
Yeah. There's that kind of, I'll call it stank around OVE.
Oh, yeah. It's, like, almost hard to get, like, it's even hard because for a while I would be like, well, I still think Sam is a good wrestler, and like I'm never gonna buy his merch, and I'm never gonna like stand up and cheer for him, but like at least the wrestling is good. But now it's just like I can't even care about it.
It's hard. It's very, very difficult when someone goes overtly into that region.
Right.
I mean, so like you talk about Sami Callihan and like his history, and like
right,
him threatening a woman on TV feels weird.
It feels weird. It doesn't feel great. So all that aside, I was not really looking forward to this match, LAX versus Eli and Scott Steiner, because I have no emotional connection to Scott Steiner. It felt like a very old school TNA move that's like just bringing an old guy. I love me some Eli Drake. I like LAX, but I was like, oh, Conan. But they got rid of Conan right off the bat, and I was like, okay, on board with that. And then Scott Steiner and Eli Drake come out, and I'm like, okay, I love Eli Drake, whatever. I assume LAX is going to retain. Scott Steiner did really good in this match, and him and Eli Drake worked really well together, and you would think that their egos would have gotten in the way, but it actually like amplified each other, and it made sense that LAX was distracted and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Where's Conan? And he's the one that keeps their shit together and blah, blah, blah. Managers do things. But it would like, I mean, Scott Steiner doing that like top rope Hurricanrana, like that was.
So, I mean, it's a top rope Frankensteiner. That was a move he originated and got popular.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that was the pop there for that. That was total nostalgia pop there.
People who are part of the Patreon and listen to our WrestleMania, every Mania ever. I am not good at old timey wrestling,
and that's fine.
I'm learning,
yeah.
But it was amazing,
right? The fact that he could still do that at 40, whatever, with whatever he's done to his body to keep that amount of muscle mass, fucking hell yes, dude.
It was. I think I gave this match like a 1 or a 2 on the anticipation. I was like, this is my bathroom break. Fuck this. And it was actually like pretty good.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody loves Eli Drake because he's a good talker, but like Eli is also a good wrestler. And he did a good job.
They both did fantastic in that ring. LAX looked like a great tag team, and commentary was putting them over as such a cohesive tag team. It was just that one thing was wrong tonight because Conan wasn't there or whatever.
I assume will feed into the stories. I don't read spoilers.
I feel like they're setting them up for more of a storyline there, which is why I was comfortable with that loss.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had just read that Scott Steiner comes in and takes a belt his first night with the company, I would have thought that was a classic TNA move as well. He
also did wrestle at Slammiversary with Josh, who was wrestling, but whatever. I want to say something. Okay, so I was really disappointed that Sanjay wasn't on commentary because, as you know, for the past couple weeks, I've been really like all about Sanjay because I think he does an incredible job at commentary, especially juxtaposed against Josh Matthews, who I loathe and despise. Though I think Josh Matthews does a good job as a heel commentator against somebody like Sanjay, who is so good at the like face commentator. So they switched him out for the pay-per-view, so it was Josh and
Don Callis,
the Cyrus guy.
So Cyrus was his name in ECW.
Okay.
When, like old school ECW.
Old-timey wrestling, man.
Yeah, I know, old-timey wrestling, man. But that was when ECW got a television deal, and Cyrus was the evil network guy coming in to change ECW. But past that, he's now one of the main, he's the color commentator for NJPW's English commentary. Right. He's done some ROH stuff.
And I thought he did a good job. I just don't like when Impact brings in new commentary just for their pay-per-views. Like, that really bothers me, especially because I'm so over on Sanjay. And I know that Sanjay has a producer role now, so I'm sure he was doing a ton of stuff. But, like, I was sad. I love Sanjay.
Well, and Don Callis has a role in management in New Impact, now that they have a partnership with Canada. But he's also, in New Japan and elsewhere, predominantly the heel commentator. So that dynamic that you were just talking about with Matthews.
And he kind of was.
Oh, he absolutely is.
But Josh was also being a heel because Josh cannot be a face.
Because Josh Matthew isn't inherently likable in any way.
He's the most punchable. So, like, that threw me off a little bit. Though I think once they warmed into it, the first match, I did not think they did a good job calling. And, like, But I think they really warmed into it, and they did put the talent over in a good way. Yeah. The next match was the six-pack challenge, which when you looked at it, you were like, okay, this is just an exhibition match not an exhibition match. This is just a match to highlight Cage, right? And it totally was. Cage looked amazing. Like, it's incredible that somebody with that body mass can do the X Division stuff that he can. But it wasn't a throwaway match. Like, the match was good. Ishimori looked great. It was nice to see DJZ back. I love when Trevor gets cocky. Like,
Trevor was getting cocky. They were putting over Desmond and Xavier, got some great spots in there. Commentary was putting over DJZ really, really hard. He was in the ring for the majority of the match. It was
DJZ carried a lot of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, Cage did go over, and I liked how Cage, because it was lucha rules, so if you get thrown from the outside, then somebody else can tag in. And I liked for like the first half of the match, Cage was just standing there. Like, he was like, I'm not going to make an effort to tag in. I'm not going to do this, whatever, until Trevor pissed off the Wolverine, punching him in the face and stuff. And Cage got a little bloody. Like, I think he got actually kicked in the face. So it actually lent to the story of I'm a badass. I don't need to try. Oh, you want to fight me? I'm gonna hurt you. The
fact that you could build up to what was essentially a hot tag in a 6-pack challenge was great. Really, really great match building. Yeah.
Also, I think what they're doing with Cage, obviously you bring in somebody like Cage to push him as a monster heel, or not monster heel, but monster big guy, machine. Yeah. The way that they've been building him was smart. They fed him all these throwaway guys, and then he's, for storyline purposes, is the guy that took out Walking Armageddon Lashley. Lashley's no longer in the company, storyline purposes, because Cage beat him and kicked him out.
Side note, I think Impact did a really good job with those two departures, because they were those two main guys, EC3 and Lashley. They handled
the EC3 departure was so good.
It was so good. And it was very much on camera. It was very much public, and it looked very friendly on both ends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I think that what they've been doing with Cage has been great, and I look forward to him being put into title pictures and stuff like that.
I'm glad some promotion with a television deal is giving him the ball. He's been waiting for that for so long.
Yeah, I mean, he has
kind of had it in Lucha, I know,
he has the gauntlet, but there's so much going on with Lucha any given week that it seems like they're grooming him to be one of the top guys, which is nice.
And what you said earlier about Lucha Underground being its own separate wrestling reality kind of place.
Yeah, for sure. The next match was Taya versus Kiera Hogan, which was a surprise match because that was not a match that was advertised. And so when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I love Kiera Hogan, I love Taya, this is going to be great. And as a match, it was really good. They have really good chemistry in ring, and I want to see more from them. And I think Kiera, she's only been on Impact for maybe 2 months, and she's been doing a great job. She doesn't really have any storylines yet, and she's definitely a face because she's on Team Alley. But anytime she's in a ring, she's excelled, and that's really exciting. But the point of this match was Tessa. That's 100% the point of this match.
Absolutely. And you touched on it when you said, Kiera Hogan doesn't necessarily have a storyline in Impact right now. Neither does Taya, really.
Well, because she just finished her feud with Rosemary. Right. And, people were complaining that Rosemary wasn't on this pay-per-view, which I absolutely understand. She didn't wrestle all weekend on Shimmer, and they said she had an injury. And maybe it's not a very publicized injury, or they're not working it into the storyline, or I don't know. We'll see what happens at the tapings. But I think that's the reason she wasn't there. But using Taya and Kiera just to have a good women's wrestling match, smart. And then have Tessa come in on commentary. I mean, that's Tessa fucking Blanchard.
OMG.
That's Tessa amazing.
Blanchard. Yes.
I mean, you see me when we're at the Shimmer and Rise shows. I almost flip my chair every time Diamonds Are Forever comes on. I freak out. She's amazing.
I watch Stella grab Helena Handbasket by her lapels and be like, this woman is amazing. You fucking love her.
This woman is amazing. I love her so much.
Yes, and she deserves that kind of recognition.
She absolutely does.
That as well.
And it definitely seems in the past 2 years she's got more, she's been busting her ass for years, but it definitely seems in the past 2 years she's really gotten a lot of recognition. She was in the Mae Young Classic, and she is in All In, and she's now on Impact, and I'm very excited. I'm also, as somebody who watches Impact Weekly, I'm super stoked that I get to see fucking Tessa Blanchard on my TV every week.
Well, and what they're going to do with her. She's going to go in the ring. She's going to kick a bunch of ass. And then they're going
Top rope codebreaker? Fuck yes.
And then they're going to give her a faction, because that's also what Tessa does.
Oh my God. I want a Tessa faction on TV.
Yeah. That's going to happen. That's going to be a thing.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
So it was, the next match was OVE versus Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer and Tommy Dreamer's black friend Moose.
Tommy Dreamer had a dream.
Tommy Dreamer has a dream. Oh my God.
Oh.
You know what? Props to Moose for like keeping his shit together during that promo.
Absolutely.
Moose was just like, yep, this is wrestling. This is the world that yep. Okay.
Tommy Dreamer's really over because of nostalgia, so I'm just going to go with this.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to bring in Tommy Dreamer if you want to have this hardcore match. And at this point, like, Eddie Edwards wouldn't quit in an I Quit match. Like, this is where this feud is. You have to have a hardcore match because you can't go anywhere else. Though the match was fun, it is what you expect it to be, whatever. I was shocked when OV won. And I was like, what? What the, like,
OV
how?
got a cheap win.
Cheap win. I was shocked still, though. I was like, what else do you do with the storyline? What the fuck? And then Eddie Edwards lost his damn mind. As an audience member who's always been like, Eddie Edwards is like watching Toast, like if Toast is good at wrestling, but is still Toast.
Toast is a very good technical wrestler, but Toast doesn't, it's just Toast. It's not even toast with butter.
It was like, Eddie Edwards has a personality. Eddie Edwards is mad. Eddie Edwards has feelings.
They made you fucking care about Eddie Edwards.
Yeah.
That has to be marked as a success.
And it makes sense because it's been like driven. His fucking face was broken. Honestly, they turned shit into gold with this like baseball bat to the eye story.
Absolutely.
And like we could look at it and theorize and like blah, 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 blah. But like they turned shit into gold. And fucking his wife came out and he accidentally like hit her with a kendo stick because he was going crazy and hitting everyone. And,
Great
like,
camera angle on that hit too.
Yeah.
Like I know we were talking about production stuff, but they nailed that one.
And Eddie just being like, what have I done? I'm a monster. I'm turning into what I hate. And the way that Tommy looked at him like, who are you, Eddie? Who are you even?
Like the build up to that moment was, oh my God, Eddie Edwards hit a referee. Oh my God, Eddie Edwards hit Thomas Dreamer. Oh shit, Eddie Edwards hit his fucking wife in the face with a kendo stick. Like,
yeah, she sold it really well too.
And she sold it like
all the
death.
while like Sammy is duct taped to the ring,
awkward as shit,
bleeding. The only thing that I think would have made it better is if, you know, Sammy was out and bleeding or whatever, is if Sammy was duct taped to the ring, bleeding, and just, like, silently laughing. Like, that would have made it better.
If he would have, like, semi-consciously woke up halfway between them and been
and like,
I knew Edwards all along.
I've destroyed your life. That was the only thing that would have made, like, cherry on top for me. But props to Eddie Edwards for having an emotion and doing a good job with his emotion.
Absolutely.
PD Williams versus Matt Sydal for the X Division Championship. It was a fine match. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be, considering how good they are at wrestling. But I did think that Sydal would win because it was too perfect of a symmetry to have PD win. And it's like that, the rule, like, nobody wins in their whole hometown. Like, you're not going to win the X Division Championship on the, like, you know, year anniversary of you winning it. Like, that's not going to happen.
Also,
even though he did hit the Destroyer, but Matt rolled out of the ring, which is a good way to not lose but still get the Destroyer and protect the Destroyer.
I like that neither of them won with their quote-unquote finishing moves in this match. What I didn't necessarily like was, and there was a miscue earlier where they kind of played the pre-package for this match at the beginning of the show, which was Matthews and Sydal backstage, and it seemed like they're now stepping away from that relationship.
Yeah, like
Josh
Matthews was trying to set him free. My favorite part of that, though, was when Josh Matthews was like, I'm going to need that gift back, that shitty spirit animal mask. And Matt goes, what? It's on my gear now. And Josh was like, oh, I was just kidding. You can have it. What? I put it on my gear.
It's on my chest, dude. So I wasn't a fan of them super hardcore stepping back from that, just so seemingly like Matthews could retake his role as a commentator and not have to deal with that. It felt like a watering down of a storyline and also of Sydal's character.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially since they spent so much time getting there. Yeah. Like, it took forever to reveal who
his Yogi?
I guess. What did he call it? Oh, fuck. My sensei? No, that's not right. Something like culturally not
was okay. Was it Senpai?
No.
Okay, I don't think it was that anime.
Guru.
There we go. Yeah,
My spiritual guru.
Yeah. And they seem to like
Namaste.
namaste, which like that part of it was funny. I'm just like,
yeah,
Matthew's
Matt
kind of
namaste.
I don't like how quickly they stepped away from it, but it seems like they didn't have anything else planned there. So,
and I hate Josh Matthews, but he did do a good job in that.
Well, so that was what I was so excited about. I was so excited about Josh Matthews maybe transitioning into like a heel manager
away from commentary.
Yes. And that didn't happen, and maybe that's why I'm a little bee hurt.
Because if you could have Callis and Sanjay, like, why not?
Absolutely. Callis is a bit more seasoned, although, you know, Matthews has been doing it for a while. It's just that Josh Matthews is Josh Matthews.
Oh, Josh Matthews.
That was my chair.
Ew. That's your noise for Josh Matthews.
These microphones are great.
Allie versus Su Yung for the Knockouts Championship. Here's a question, because some people bring this up online, like our friend on Twitter, Dana Zietti. Does the title Knockouts bother you in the way that Divas bothered people? It never has bothered me.
I'm going to say no because of its lineage. Cool.
Doesn't bother me. I think it's because we exist in a world of puns, and I appreciate the pun. And I'm used to people being like, oh, my name's Stella fucking Cheeks. And like, you know,
Right
hell in a hand basket.
Yeah.
And I appreciate a pun. And, you know, puns can get very raunchy in the burlesque world. So I don't know. Maybe it's just never bothered me. But I get why it would bother people. But what do you mean it's lineage?
That division kind of started as an offset from what WWE was doing at the time. When the Knockouts division really, really started, there were like Gail Kim and Awesome Kong.
So
and
what
all
you're
those
saying
people who really, really built it
is that it never Divas was a shitty name and a shitty division where women were mistreated. Knockouts is maybe not the greatest name, but was built to be a division of women wrestlers and has been given respect.
Also, I'll say this: I also don't mind that that's a title that isn't overtly gendered in name.
That's true. Yeah. You could be a knockout as a guy.
You could be a knockout as a trans person.
Yeah.
They could, I mean, they
just be a knockout. Like,
they haven't done that, but you can just decide you're part of the Knockouts division. It hasn't been done yet, but, you know.
But they are doing intergender wrestling for realsies now.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And that was a good match when they had it.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Allie versus Su Yung, Knockouts Championship. I thought this was a pretty good match, but it didn't really get good until after the match.
Yes.
Right? Like, this was a match that led to the end. Which is kind of how I predicted it. I was like, Allie's going to win because Allie needs to solidify herself as a champion, not be a paper champion, like how she said in her promo or in the package. Yeah. Su Yung has made a name for herself already, like, in Impact specifically, you know, sneaking up on Allie and then this feud and whatever. So that is established. And really just want a moment where Su Yung beats the shit out of Braxton Sutter, and we got there.
And... you know, I talked earlier about how wrestling can be so many things. This match had two people that aren't necessarily known for their athleticism and their technical prowess, but they're two really strong characters.
Yeah.
And so from this match, you just wanted to see a really strong story happen, and that's what we got.
But I think we got some pretty good wrestling, too. Su Yung is somebody who, when I saw her wrestle live, I'm, like, really into it. And it doesn't the wrestling doesn't translate well to me on TV. The character fully does.
Su Yung, when it's real life and she's in your face,
is a lot.
More frightening than Rosemary ever has been. Oh, for sure.
Because Rosemary, you're like, she's so cool.
Well, and because I remember who Rosemary was before she was Rosemary. And it was cute and stuff. Yeah. But, like, Su Young's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and also that dress looks like it smells really bad.
Really bad.
During Shimmer, Britt Baker went to put it on, and she smelled it. Went, nah, nope. Britt Baker, all in. So happy for you. Oh, that's part of my news. We skipped news. Ugh.
Sorry.
We just got right into Impact because I was just excited. I'm excited when I'm proven right.
Hell yes.
Final match, AAA. Austin Aries versus Penta, Gunn Jr., and Phoenix. This match was great. It was basically just a continuation of the match that they had at WrestleCon.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I alluded to this in my predictions. I'd be like, I wouldn't put them past it to put it on a lucha person. Like, it makes sense with their things. But I guess I'm just going to play it safe and say Austin Aries. And I was like, damn it, you should have followed your instincts.
It's going to be interesting what they do with Austin Aries after this. But Penta's a great pick. It's such a large personality, such an over gimmick.
Right.
They could do so much with him just being champion and being Penta.
And
whereas
also,
Austin Aries can do whatever the fuck he wants and it's going to be entertaining.
But also, so that's a 3-way, right? And
Yeah.
in the beginning package, Austin Aries even said his 3-ways are different matches. Can I beat anybody one-on-one? Fuck yeah. But three-way matches are different. So in the inevitable match where it's Austin versus Penta, if Austin Aries wins it back, like that makes sense and also solidifies him as a leader of Impact specifically. Penta is already a leader of Lucha and he can come in and go, but like I doubt Penta's going to sign an Impact contract. Like it makes sense if Austin Aries or somebody else gets it soon, but to take it from a 3-way to a one-on-one, that's consistent storyline to me.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I agree
I don't
with
know.
that.
I loved it. Was it the best pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life? No. Was it a good pay-per-view? Yes. And the fact that the internet was buzzing and people were like, should I watch Impact? I was like, I know I personally did nothing, but I feel very validated.
I mean, you call your pay-per-view fucking Redemption.
Yeah.
And I think it delivered on that name.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Should we circle back around to news?
Yeah, let's go for it.
News. It's like 45 minutes in. Let's talk about news. Bruno Sammartino died. Technically, that happened last week, but we didn't bring it up on the podcast. They had a nice video package for him. And I like the stories that come out about people after they were gone where it's like, no, that person was actually a good person. That's also just really nice.
There was that thing going around where, like, Bruno Sammartino was offered a role on The Sopranos, but then turned it down when he learned there was swearing on the show.
You know what? My experience with Bruno Sammartino is like WrestleMania 1 where he brought his kid to the ring.
Yep.
And then all the legends that I just know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle a match, but like he's still very important and I understand that.
He was a very standard and good old-timey wrestler.
Old-timey wrestling.
Yeah.
Zack Ryder is hurt.
But not as bad as we thought.
But not as bad as we thought.
Yeah.
Strains, not tears.
Mm-hmm. Strains, not tears.
Strains, not tears.
That's a t-shirt. I want that on a t-shirt.
Zack Ryder, please just take care of yourself. I love you. Woo-woo forever.
We know it.
We know it. Casey from American Ninja Warrior made her NXT debut, as well did Nixon Nywell as part of Team Kick. So that is very exciting, even though they were like in the house shows. But
yeah,
I'm excited to see if this American Ninja Warrior girl is like good at wrestling.
I'm just happy to see Nixon Newell do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Kick. All in. New people announced. Chelsea.
Yes.
Britt Baker.
Yes.
Jay Lethal.
Yes.
Joey Janela and Penelope Ford.
Janela.
I mean, it's funny when they announce people and I'm like, yeah, obviously Jay Lethal, but it's still like exciting. Like this is a sick card. Okada and Tessa and Jay Lethal and Chelsea Green and Britt Baker. Like this is exciting.
It just seems like the possibilities because we don't know matchups yet.
Right.
We just know talents, which is a great way to build excitement for an event. We just know the talents that could possibly be there. We don't even know who is fighting who yet, which is baller, especially when you have names like Okada and Jay Lethal in there. It's like they're doing a really, really great job. I think also I saw
there's 5 women on this card too.
There's already 5
for
women
an ROH affiliate, 6 women if you count Brandy. So like for an ROH affiliate, I know it's not ROH produced, but it's a lot of people from ROH, so we know from ROH that there are 5 women. That's amazing. And they're not being announced as throwaways. It's like a big deal. Tessa was one of the first people announced. Deanna was one of the first people announced. Like, this is exciting.
All of these all-in announcements are being treated like big fucking deals. And there was also news today that Cody said they're going to charge like $25 a ticket. They're going to charge under market prices for all of this.
Because they want people in them.
They want a packed fucking show. They want to prove, like, that was the whole thing on being the elite. They just wanted to prove that they could pack this fucking arena.
Right.
Yeah.
If I, for some reason, can't go because there's a chance that I might not be in town for that, then I'm still going to buy a ticket. I'll give it to somebody. I'll be like, here's my money. I don't know. I want to buy stuff for you.
I just want this to happen.
Yeah. This is cool. Let's talk about the greatest Royal Rumble.
Grrr. Grrr. Let's talk about WWE. Grrr. Which is very much how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, we won't know until the, like, numbers come out, monetary numbers, like, when they have, because they're a public company, they have to post their finances. But, like, how much are the Saudis giving them, right? Like, a lot. It is a government-funded show.
Absolutely. Which is I mean,
It, like,
the
is.
whole point I
It's
feel
in
so
the,
icky
like,
about it is everything
King's Stadium. It's a government-funded show, and it's part of the prince's like plan to modernize his company, modernize his country, which he runs like a company. There was a quote that I highlighted because all
of the promotional material for it is Saudi Arabia presents WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble, which is the sticking point for me. I mean, it might as well be called, here's my hot take, here's my sound clip for it. It might as well be called Cognitive Dissonance, the pay-per-view.
This is from a Deadspin article about it, and it said, despite the star power of the Greatest Royal Rumble, a huge part of the roster will not make the trip. When asked by Deadspin when the show was announced, WWE responded with a statement that female WWE superstars will not be performing at this year's event. Given that WWE spent the past few years championing their, quote, women's revolution, and Ronda Rousey is their current biggest mainstream star, this represents a significant step backwards. This is the money sentence. It also indicates WWE doing its part to help rehabilitate Saudi Arabia's image while indirectly supporting the kingdom's ongoing commitment to gender segregation.
I reject the first part of that and accept the second part of it.
You reject the Ronda Rousey part?
I reject the part that it's showing WWE's like ongoing thing to like support Saudi Arabia.
How do you reject it? They are partnering, and because the prince's whole thing is that he's bringing in sports, and because he wants to not be dependent on oil, so he's like bringing in companies and bringing in sports and making like diversifying their economy.
I think it's a PR move.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
it's
what
actually.
That means.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I get that, but I don't think it's actually changing the social climate.
No. But I think they're like image wise, they're doing their part to help rehabilitate the image. And be like, look, Saudi Arabia's fun.
I guess what I meant was I reject the idea of that. Like, I don't think...
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's definitely happening, but like, yes, it shouldn't happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
We're on the same page. Yeah, so it just feels... First of all, I don't need to watch another 6-hour pay-per-view. And also, the matches are boring. I'm not going to watch it.
The matches are boring. I don't think a lot of storyline shit's going to happen there, but...
Also, I reject that Raw and SmackDown were just setups for this pay-per-view that I don't want to watch, and that's on the middle of the day, and that is a, like, weird government-sanctioned thing, and is not going to be good.
Both shows were kind of half-footed the water on that, too, because, like, they were kind of half-setting up matches for grrr, but also alluding to Backlash. So it
was weird.
It was really weird.
The only show, honestly, that did a good job setting up stuff for GER is 205 Live, because they had like a sick-ass gauntlet match, which is something that, frankly, 205 Live is like the only show, other than maybe NXT, that can get away with that stuff.
Absolutely.
Because people have this weird low expectation, but they also are incredible wrestlers and have the freedom to do stuff like that. Like 205 Live this week was great, and used that hour that they have to set up the match in Saudi Arabia. But they did an excellent job. Like, it made Drew look great. It looked Ali. It made made everybody look great.
Drew always looks great.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like,
but
Tony
also,
Nese looked great. Like
that show was only an hour, so you can encapsulate like a gauntlet match like that in an hour and sell it really, really well. For sure. Whereas Raw can't do that.
No, and I understand that. I'm just saying, like, I think 205 Live is the only show that even like did a good job, like,
absolutely
building to this weird thing. And it's the show that you have to like go out of your way to watch.
It's so
though it's worth it.
Hard. 205 Live is definitely worth it, and that's not what I'm talking about right now. It's so hard because, you know, this is a company that, like, that Balor Club thing just happened.
Yep.
And it's like a rainbow t-shirt that, like, Balor Club is for everyone except in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. The women's revolution matters, except in Saudi Arabia. We are accepting of identities of our homosexual wrestlers, except in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
It's difficult, but then you have to remind yourself this is the same company that a month out before WrestleMania thought naming their women's battle royal after was a good deal. Like
it's also important to remember that the United States is not perfect, and like.
Oh, absolutely.
We're also dealing with a lot of shit too. It's not like we are better than Saudi Arabia because like we're superior, blah blah blah. Like
yeah, but
we are like our laws are and things like that. There you know, we might not be completely free, but like it is better. I'm just saying, like, WWE is such a massive company that they are going to go to countries like India that have different laws and different expectations of gender and sexuality and homosexuality. And it's like this weird fine line that you have to figure out. Like, you shouldn't silence anybody and you shouldn't change what you're doing, but you also shouldn't be expected to change a culture by using your show.
I read a lot of comments that were like, no, WWE's trying to pull them out of that, and that's part of
No,
this
I don't
move
think they
by the
are.
king. Like, I don't think they are. I think they're trying to make it a bunch of money.
They're trying to make a bunch of money.
But you don't have to support trash
Exactly.
nations. Like, you don't have to do that.
And I don't have to support this show, and I'm not going to watch it.
I am not going to.
Full disclosure, we're not watching this.
Yeah, next week we will not talk about Gurr. It's just not going to be a
Or
thing
we'll
that
talk
happens.
about it in that we know what, maybe a fallout, or we know the results, but we're not watching the matches.
I don't think I can sit down and watch that
I'm not
show
watching
with
it.
a good conscience.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I can't do it.
Fully, no.
Yeah.
No friggin' way. Boy, Drew Gulak looked good this week.
Didn't he, though?
I'm also really into his matte tights. I appreciate a good matte blue.
I have loved Drew Gulak for years and years and years and years.
I have loved Drew Gulak.
He was one of my favorite indie talents, no matter what personality he was portraying. So
Kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
We respect Shakara.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I just thought I thought this gauntlet match was built really well. Like, I was like, well, obviously Mustafa Ali's going to win. Like, they just had this match. Like, it's going to be Mustafa Ali again. He was out in the second match. And Drew looked dope. And Tony Nese's, like, weird temper tantrum was great. And his, like, backstage interview.
Building. Great storyline
He didn't even count his abs.
Yeah.
But Kalisto versus Cedric will be an excellent match, and it doesn't hurt Kalisto when he loses.
They're doing the same thing that they did again with WrestleMania, in my opinion, where it's just going to be two relative faces having a full-on flippy-dippy cruiserweight match on a big stage. And I support that to get the division over.
Right. I really appreciate, though, that it is flippy-dippy... I almost call it flippy-dippy burlesque. Flippy-dippy wrestling, and, like, that's what 205 Live is known for. But I appreciate that they've made room and given Drew the opportunity to be a different style of wrestler and have this whole thing be like, I'm against the flips or whatever, but also be a good wrestler. And to be a submission wrestler that reads on TV is tricky. I love Zack Sabre Jr. He did not read in the classic at all for me.
No,
I've seen some of the best matches I've ever seen in my life in person watching Zack Sabre Jr. Didn't work for me on TV. I am yet to really get to him in progress. Like, the match with him and Marty in Chapter 1 is amazing. But submission-based wrestling can be tricky. And Drew does it so well.
Because Drew has the gravitas. He has the performance aspect down of it as well. He sells a character. He knows where the camera is. He knows how to trash talk so that it works as well.
Right.
Like, he just exudes this know-it-all upper-class bully character. He's been doing For the Better blank for years now, but it still works because he's so good at it.
Yeah, he's great at it. So NXT, we're on a weird recording schedule.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on NXT because I thought that the Candice Johnny stuff was good. Candice versus Zelina was really fun.
I'm glad they gave Zelina a match.
Right. And she's a good wrestler. Yeah. And, like, she's basically just going to be a manager, it seems like, up on the main roster, which is fine. We finally got to see Candice, like, actually wrestle in NXT. I'm fine with Candice and Johnny being Candice and Johnny because they are Candice and Johnny. But I do hope that at some point we can have Candice have storylines that have nothing to do with Johnny. I'm hoping that we'll get there someday. It doesn't bother me now, but I see it bothering me in the future, and I hope we can get to a good place.
I think that's going to start when one or the other of them moves up to the main roster.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening in NXT because of how well they've established the two of them together as a unit.
It's like I said, it doesn't bother me now, but I feel like it will.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
it lessens Candice in a way
Yeah.
that I don't want because Candice
like it makes
is
sense to
fucking
bring
amazing.
her in through him, but like the fact that the main event was Zelina and Candice and it was a fun match didn't bother me that the guys were involved because the girls were involved in their match a lot, but it did bother me that the main event was then followed by the actual main event part, which was Alistair and Johnny.
Right.
Like that
it
annoyed
lessened
me.
the storyline of Candice and Zelina fighting.
Right.
And
that
all
annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
So the War Raiders fought these two jobbers in white t-shirts, and their names were Chris and JC. And I just wanted to take a moment, and because I thought it was really funny that my worst boyfriend was named Chris, and Erin's worst boyfriend was named JC.
Also, is this a boy band reference?
I don't know. It was just a funny moment where they were like, they're fighting Chris and JC, and I was like, those are our bad boyfriends. Those are our shitty boyfriends.
They did it.
Let's watch them get murdered by the War Raiders. War Raiders, War Raiders, War Raiders, War Raiders. I am also very excited to watch Johnny versus Alistair. I love that Alistair came out and was just like, yeah, fine.
You want it.
You can have it.
You can have it.
Yeah, I want more of that.
Absolutely.
I want more of Alistair just being like, fine.
I mean, Alistair is solid on the mic. I know that from his indie work. But
I know, but it's just...
if he can be this stoic motherfucker character,
like, no,
absolutely.
not good, not evil.
Yeah.
You can have it.
I will fight any man or possibly man-type creature.
Not good. I like that we made him like a weirdly like Eastern European.
Well, he's...
Dutch.
Neither of us studied Dutch accents in theater school.
Dutch.
We don't know how to do this.
Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar talked for so long that I muted my TV and did homework. I was like, I can't deal with this.
Heyman's great, but I just don't fucking care anymore.
But I don't.
It's the same
I'm over
fucking
it.
song and dance. I'm so over it.
Heyman was great.
Heyman's always great. Heyman's not going to be allowed to go to Saudi Arabia, though.
Heyman hasn't been as good since he chopped his ponytail off, to be honest.
Absolutely. He needs to bring back that ponytail hat. Also, you need to start selling not your demographic ponytail hats.
No. Nope. I thought it was weird that Elias beat Bobby Roode.
Me too.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then Bobby Roode was like laughing about it. And I was like, is this a feud? What's happening? Bobby, you just came to Raw. You should have won that match.
I mean, but I love that they're throwing Bobby in at the top.
Right. Because they love Elias. And the audience, rock with
exactly.
Elias.
Yeah.
I am digging Matt and Bray as a tag team. Not necessarily because I'm like digging Matt or Bray right now. Because like I said, I don't think the Broken Universe works at all at WWE. And I think I'm just over Bray Wyatt because I've been conditioned to be over Bray Wyatt. But I like that they're doing each other's bits. I like that they both were like, run. And they were like doing each other's bits. Like that. That's like a fun tag team thing that is working. Let
the two of them have this mescaline trip buddy comedy for as long as it fucking works. Honestly, yes.
It was nice to see the Ascension. I like the Ascension. Tyler Breeze and Fandango really got me over on the Ascension.
Yes.
I love that Victor's always like, gluten-free food is good. I love that.
Yeah, hopefully the Ascension gets a jet wash run from all of this. But yeah, I say let Matt and Bray do their Del Eater of Words thing for as long as it holds purchase with the audience, because it's these two weird guys who do weird things, right?
Right. It's too bad that they really threw away the opportunity to make Bray the new, like, Undertaker.
Yeah,
they
but
really
they did that how many years ago?
I know, but I'm just saying they, like, threw that opportunity away. Like, they could have had, like, a solid replacement, and they just fucked it up. Not that he would be... I just meant, like, mystical magic bullshit.
Yeah.
The Salmon and Kevy show. A weekly? Huh? Maybe? We'll do it whenever we feel like it. Sammy improvising. Well, weekly? And Kevin being like, we're not improvising tonight.
Sammy, I love you and I love everything you do. Also...
And his readers? I'll never get over his glasses.
Don't ever get over his readers, but also his cute, like, tipping of the sign over to let Kurt in. So good. So good.
I like how he just, like, swiveled in his chair. And Kevin was just, like, sitting there like, yep, I'm an angry guy. This is my thing. And Sammy just sold the whole thing.
I'm totally cool with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, like, transferring into this Statler and Waldorf type of grumpy ass personas on Raw.
Sammy's face when Angle was like, you have to fight Lashley and Strowman tonight. Sammy just gave him the most disgusted look. Like, Kevin looked upset, but Sammy was horrified. Sammy sold that whole segment for me. Kevin did a good job, don't get me wrong. But, like, Sammy is such a good shitty little heel.
It's amazing how someone who, kayfabe, was one of the most successful baby faces outside of the WWE in forever could transition so well into this shitty heel persona that everyone loves. how fucking shitty he is and how snide he is.
They make good foils for Kurt Angle, too.
Absolutely.
Especially with Stephanie gone and, you know, they're not doing...
But I want Stephanie gone. I want Shane gone. Like,
yeah, I like when they're gone and they just pop back up here and there.
Right.
And I love, like, Stephanie being, like, the puppet master almost behind Kevin and Sammy, that they can always, like, run and be like, well, Stephanie said we could. I know you can't see her and you don't know if she actually said it, but she totally said it.
She
so,
totally
like,
said it.
Don't
That's
worry.
why we're here, and Stephanie said we could do it.
Here for Ms. Taraj trying to find a new leader.
I mean, like, okay, so
good.
Classic play structure.
Imma
that
believer.
was the through line through that episode of Raw, and I fucking love it. They got so many segments, and I fucking love that.
And they deserve so many
Absolutely.
segments. Not just because they've been there and their heritage and stuff. Like, they are funny and they are good wrestlers and they roll with the punches and they do whatever that company asks them to do and they do it well and they deserve it. And I love that they entered to the Miz theme song. I love that they like tried to solicit Finn and Seth. I want them to continue to try and like solicit new leaders and just continue to use the Miz's theme song. They're like, we don't know what to do right now. Can you lead us? I love that when they were talking to Finn, Bo was like, Miz is gone. The club is gone. And Axel just goes, what a perfect opportunity. They're sad like two sweets. Finn is like, no.
It
and
has to.
The four of them had a good match.
That's it. That's it, though. The four of them still had a good match. They still gave them a match.
I believe.
As long as they keep giving them matches while this whole confusion is happening, they'll be fine. If they're only getting
I don't want them to get Sandowed.
I don't want them to get Sandowed. I don't want them to get R-Truthed. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't want them to get Sandowed.
No.
I love me some Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
That was one of the first pieces of WWE merch that I bought was a Believe cup.
Still there.
Still there.
Still in your heart.
Still got it.
Still got it.
Still got it. Okay. Titus Worldwide versus My Boo and a pile of trash. This match was fine. The finisher that Drew and Dolph do is cool. The Claymore and the zigzag.
Yes. But
okay, objectively, I don't know.
I don't get why.
Objectively, I just don't know. Is this not working for me because I hate Dolph Ziggler? Is this working for other people? Is Dolph as the like pseudo manager hype guy for Drew work? I don't know. Like, I'm obviously always going to be happy in whatever segment Drew is in because I want to see Drew. I will be sad because I want him to be pushed in a certain way, and I think he deserves all the accolades, and I love him forever. And his cool wife deserves all the money that he gets. Fun fact, I would never sleep with Drew Galloway. That's his real name. Drew Galloway, because I respect his hot-ass wife.
I would work out an arrangement with them both because that's more in tune with my dating life.
Okay, if they were chill with that, then fine, maybe.
Yes.
Because she's also super dupes hot.
Super dupes hot.
She's super dupes hot. Ugh.
So they gave Drew that flame-ass promo with the mic.
And he did a great job.
Impassioned goddamn Drew McIntyre on the mic is so good and unbeatable. What they didn't do in that promo was bridge the gap of why he's with Dolph.
Right.
They could have done it, but they didn't because Drew was just like, you know, the SmackDown roster has become complacent and these superstars have become complacent and this is what a superstar looked like. But then he didn't point at Dolph and say, and this guy's been doing it this whole time, and this guy has been...
What a good point.
And they just, like, they failed to do that, and so I still don't know why they're together.
That's a great point. Also, why does Dolph's music still have the record scratch?
Right.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. Dolph at this point is a...
Objectively, do you like Drew McIntyre's theme song?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm fine. Yeah.
I love it. It's
Everything
like so sexy and Scottish. I'm like, oh, Scottish.
So I was watching this show with Justine, who you met. She watched wrestling like way back in the day, but has been out of the product. And when Drew came out, she was like, ugh. And I was like, I know, right? And she's like, everything about him. I'm like, wait till you hear him talk. And when she talked, she was like, ugh. Yeah.
Not a joke. My body physically reacts when he gets on screen. Like, I gasp audibly all the time. And I like surprise myself. I'll be like, oh, like, why are you see him all the time. You see him every day. He's the background of your phone and computer. Like, relax. But my body's just like, oh, hi Drew. I think I would fully pass out if I met him in real life. I think I would just Him or EC3, I might just die.
I think I want to fully see that happen.
I actually think I would be okay with EC3. I would just, because he's like that persona.
EC3 knows. Like,
Right,
EC3
he's
has
the
a consciousness
persona.
of himself. Yeah.
Right. And it would be fun. You could like joke with him. I think I would just like maybe just start crying.
Yes.
And I do not fangirl in real life over people. I think the two people I would probably like start crying around would be Bette Midler for obviously different reasons. And then I might just like pass out of like pure like sexual energy if I'm in the same room as Drew. I mean, I have been in the same room as him before. I've seen him wrestle live, but
It's different.
I've never talked to him or gone up to him and been like, can I have your shirt?
Or
Never gonna do
the
that.
one that you're wearing right now.
Can I have
Your pants.
You know that thing where wrestlers sell their gear on eBay? Can you sell that to me right now?
Right now. Okay, so that was Thirst Corner.
Thirsty. Okay, I don't like Ginger, but him confusing Gable with Nicholas was funny.
So, my God, that whole segment was so funny.
And frankly, amazing that Gable got the win.
Yes.
And I'm just thirsting for him versus JJ when he comes back.
I mean, if
That's
they're
going to be a hot-ass angle, right? They put him back on Raw for a reason.
if they're pushing main roster Gable as the plucky technical underdog because that show doesn't have Daniel Bryan, I'm fucking for it.
Yeah. So the Riot Squad had this promo. Whoever's writing for the Riot Squad is pure garbage because they are trying. It's not that they're doing a bad job. Like, Ruby does an okay job with shit. She had to say a line, "We're a can of tear gas, equal opportunity agitators." That is a bad line.
In so many ways.
Though, I will say, out of the three of them, Liv did a really good job with this promo.
Liv does great with promos.
Yeah.
Liv
Liv did a good job.
Liv is a very well-formed talent.
Yeah. I really like Liv.
Yeah.
And Sarah and Ruby did fine. It's just like, it's a shit promo. It's hard, like, people rag, including me and Erin, rag on Sarah Logan specifically for not being great at talking, but, like, she's never been given anything good to say on TV, so, like, how do we even know if she's good at a promo?
Right.
I mean, nobody could deliver that promo well. Period. Who could deliver that promo well? Maybe Samoa Joe.
I was going to say Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe could read Goodnight Moon to me. Also, Samoa Joe, start doing work with Audible. Read me audiobooks, please.
Read me audiobooks, Samoa Joe.
Your dulcet tones, Samoa Joe. I want you to read me bedtime stories.
Dulcet tones.
Run through Dr. Seuss. Your diction is just on point all the time, every day. Please, Samoan Joseph, read me to sleep.
Samoan Joseph. Oh, speaking of, Joe recorded a video just dunking on Roman again.
Which I fucking love. I love that no matter
dunks.
what show Joe's on or what he's doing, his main thing right now is, and Roman Reigns, I'm gonna get that ass.
But, like, not in the fun way.
And not in the, it's still gonna be fun, but not in that way.
Not in the thirsty way.
The thirsty way. Not in the Stella still has low-key sex dreams about Roman Reigns way.
Yeah, he is the protagonist of my vampire novel. I didn't even change his name.
Nope, it's just straight up Roman Reigns.
Yeah, well, it's not Reigns. It's just Roman.
It's just Roman.
The old-ass sexy vampire. Someday I'll finish that book and you guys will get to read it and tell me how terrible I am at writing.
November.
Maybe 3 Novembers from now.
Yeah.
Maybe the first November I'm out of grad school.
So yes, Samoa Joe, again, another well-delivered promo to a camera.
To a phone.
Right.
These phone things I hate, and they simultaneously hate and like.
205 did that too, as well. Like, all of their warm-up promos, it looked like they were being selfie taken, and I don't dig it. I want there to be a camera crew there. I want it to be well-produced.
Yeah, it was weird, like, so, in NXT, for Shayna, when she did her backstage segment, it looked like she was on a phone because it was shaky. She handed it to a camera person and was like, "Follow me." So it was like, either take a selfie phone, like a selfie video, or don't. Like, you can't do them both.
It either needs to be, this is such raw motion that I need to record it myself right now, or I'm in front of a camera crew delivering a promo for my job.
For my job. Yeah, tis bizarre. As much as I love Cammy, it was very satisfying to watch Braun Strowman just throw these little bitches around.
Holy shit.
Like, when Braun Strowman pushed Kevin Owens into the barricade, Gasp.
Twice.
Gasp.
Like, just ran through him like a Mack truck twice. And, like, for whatever you say about Strowman and his limitations for his size, like, they made him both look like a fucking monster. Sadly, Lashley was kind of overlooked in all of this, but...
Though he did have the moment where he did hold Sammy up for, like, a billion minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is, like, a solid, scary guy move.
Well, and the crowd was totally into that as well, but you just remember Braun...
Just that moment, that one moment.
Steve rolling those... Yeah, poof, poof. So good.
Choo-choo.
And Sammy and Kevin, of course,
the Strowman train.
Played their roles perfectly throughout all of this. Yeah.
I know we have to talk about it, but like, why can't we do something else with Alexa Bliss? Mickey is a heel and is killing it. Why do we have to do this like fat girl bully thing? It doesn't serve either of them, actually. It
hurt her that she had to deliver that video promo and then did nothing in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed weak as fuck.
And everyone's gonna be like, oh, she's gonna boob job. Who cares? Get over it.
It's a company built off aesthetics. I don't give a fuck that someone gets a boob job. AJ Styles could get ass implants and I would applaud him. It's fine.
It's also just like, even if it's not a company built off of aesthetics, like sometimes people just want to do things to their bodies and they have a right to do things to their bodies.
Absolutely.
And also, like, whatever. She also has a history of, like, struggling with her body image. If it makes her feel better being in to look a certain way, fine. Let her do that.
Absolutely. That's not what we're having problem with here. What we're having problem with here is
no, I'm just talking about the, like, internet being like, boob job.
I don't care. Like,
if you could get a dick job, you would, so shut up.
Well, I mean, if you need a dick job.
Hey, because you don't, is what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying if you need if you want a dick job, get a dick job. If you want a boob job, get a boob job. If you want like a thing done to your body,
get it done.
And you can afford it, just fucking get it done.
If you can afford it and it's not going to hurt you or somebody else, then do it.
Like, we shouldn't have a problem with any of this.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid in 2018 to be like weird when somebody gets a tit job. Like, who cares?
Right. Absolutely.
The science has evolved.
Also, social acceptance should evolve, but yeah.
Yeah. The science has evolved.
But what made that seem so weak is that she delivered that, like, Alexa Bliss's story about this, like,
a bully,
weird bully diner thing, but then she wasn't on the show.
She ate all the food from a grandma.
But then she wasn't there live, she wasn't on the show, and Nia's still champion, so it just seems shitty.
Yeah.
There's no power
and
to
Nia just, like, responded in a throwaway line, which is, I think, better that she was like, ugh, whatever, Alexis is dumb. But, like, that undercuts Alexa as a heel, so it makes both of them. It looks like Nia's not acknowledging the storyline, which is fine, because it's a shitty storyline. But it also is like, why is Alexa even doing it then? If it's not furthering the rematch, then why are we wasting our time? I
get that you want to keep Alexa Bliss relevant while she's still off TV. I don't think that's the way to do it.
Can't you just be like more clever than like Nia gobbled up some old lady's food? I want to see a counter video where Nia's like, you think that I'm like a fat piece of shit? Like, let's just follow me into the gym real quick.
Right.
Let's just see how fucking strong I am.
Right. Here's
how much you weigh.
Here's me lifting 3 equivalent of Alexa Bliss. Yeah. This is how hard I go to do my job because I am a fucking athlete.
Right. Fat shaming story aside, it's just shitty writing.
Right.
It's lazy, shitty writing.
It did nothing for anything that night.
It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucked. I don't get it. I don't get why it was there.
It sucked. And then you have the 10-woman tag team, which is the main event, which is fine. Like, main events are normalized, semi-normalized for women now, so that's good. And it was a 5-on-5, so it's 10 women, so they were all just in this one segment, essentially, which, whatever, I get that they're not going to be on GER, but it was just, like, it was a fine match, but it just felt like a throwaway. It felt like a throwaway main event.
It felt like a throwaway main event because they found a way to make it all about Ronda fucking Rousey.
Well, it felt like a throwaway main event already, and then they made it. Honestly, like, maybe, like, everybody get mad at me, but, like, it felt like a throwaway main event until Ronda Rousey came out.
That was the only thing that happened that mattered.
That at least, like, set up a storyline.
Other than maybe Mickey and Nat.
Mickey and Natty and Ronda now have a thing, and there's something that came out of this 10-woman, like, kind of, like, throwaway waste of my time. So at least, you know, I'm going to side on the storytelling of Ronda at this moment, because that that gave this match some kind of legitimacy. And Mickey looked like such a badass.
Yep.
And Natty is immediately a face when she was such a shit 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
So, like, that was smart. And also, like, Mickey was so good in this segment. The way that she, like, just nailed Natty and, like, got into Rhonda's face and, like, all in on heel Mickey, who is sometimes says things with Alexa that's maybe not great, but when she's on her own, she doesn't need to be like, you're a fat girl.
But it's, I mean, it's, I don't know why
Wasn't
I
she
accept
called
it.
Piggy Mickey James?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I don't know why I accept it more out of Mickey, because she was, in her previous run, the victim of a fat-shaming story, but she did it well without seeming as useless as Alexa was. Maybe it was because she was in the ring. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like...
It was so fucking... It was
just
weird.
lazy
Yeah,
writing.
yeah.
But
But that felt like it mattered.
I'm all in on a Natty versus Mickey story with Rhonda involvement. Like, Rhonda is somebody who needs people who can work and who they can trust, and who better on that roster than Mickey and Natty.
Use Ronda Rousey sparingly and as flavoring to a match, but never keep her as the main talent.
Mickey versus Natty with Rhonda in her corner, and then Rhonda keeps getting involved, and then that pisses off Natty, and then you get Natty versus Rhonda, and then you have 2 solid feuds that can run over 4 or 5 months where Rhonda gets a lot of experience, and you're not worried because Mickey and Natty can hold their own. And can help somebody who's not good, and can make somebody who's not good or lesser of a talent than them look good.
Mickey and smart. Natty can both wrestle crash test dummies in the mat and still put on a good match.
Exactly. Like, that's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. They are doing a really good job of protecting Ronda Rousey at this point. They really,
I agree.
I have to give
but
that
it's
to
also,
them.
by nature of, like, building her in a certain way, it's also not egregious storytelling. Like, it's not ruining... It's not ruining the rest of the division.
Ronda didn't have a promo. Ronda wasn't on the mic. She just ran out at the end of that match.
Right, but I'm just saying, but even all the, like, Stephanie stuff and this Natty thing, like, that's not a title picture. That's not ruining other storylines. Like, I know we'll get there, but, like, at least she seems like she is working.
Yes.
She's not being, like, totally thrown a bone. I mean, she is, but, like...
But not as much of a bone as maybe other people have in the past. I don't know.
Bones. Obviously, The Miz is amazing.
Are we switching to SmackDown?
Yeah,
now?
we just switch.
Yeah, okay.
You just switch.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, I fucking love that Miz TV segment at the top of SmackDown.
Miz is amazing. I love that people now acknowledge that Miz is amazing. I dislike Big Cass, but I think what they're doing with him is good.
My favorite part of that segment was Big Cass getting on the mic.
Be like, I taught myself how to be 7 feet tall.
No. All right, yeah. That was a thing that he said without saying it. But to bring this kind of back to the Miz in a roundabout way, Cass goes, I got sick of being bullied, and so, like, I grew tall and I bullied all my bullies, and so now I'm 7 feet tall, I'm educated, and I'm good looking as hell. And that's why I'm here. And when he said those things, it kind of panned over the Miz. The Miz was like, fuck it, I like this guy now.
Yeah, right. And then he was like, I have to respond. I get that we're wrestlers and we have long hair. But if you're going to wear a nice suit, why are you going to put in that shitty, weird neck ponytail? Right?
Well,
like, we live in 2018. If you're going to wear that nice ass suit, like, can you just bun it up?
I get that they were trying to sell that.
Undercut. That Roman undercut is nice.
I get that they were trying to sell that Cass just jumped Daniel Bryan backstage. If you're going to wear that nice suit and that nice suit jacket, roll down your fucking shirt sleeves.
That's why he put the jacket on. That makes sense.
But also, he still had his shirt sleeves rolled up to his elbows. Because he did work. But then it looked really weird when he stretched out his arms and his sleeves weren't there. And so it just looked like his blazer was made for his daddy. And he was wearing his spot. Like, it was weird. It was fucking weird.
Drew does this too, unfortunately. But, like, I get that we have long hair. But you gotta, like, learn how to work it when it's not just down. And, like, that neck ponytail bun is not how we work it.
Nope.
It's not how we work it, okay?
And I'm gonna say, if you're gonna get yourself over as a handsome heel persona, let them locks flow.
Either let them flow or bun it up.
Talk to Adam Cole. Get that good per plus hair.
It's not Adam Cole's story time anymore. It's Adam Cole's, like, hair corner.
Absolutely.
Adam Cole's beauty shop. I love that since they've premiered, the Iconics have had an in-ring promo or have had a talking segment and a match. That's amazing. I love it. I'm so happy about it.
They are the epitome of wrestling entertainment. They are the total package.
They're good looking.
Yep.
They're great on the mic.
Yep.
They're funny.
Yes.
They interact with each other and other people well, and then they can fucking in-ring perform. They're the best.
Switching back and forth between doing great wrestling and doing overblown comedy reactions to, like, Asuka or spots in the ring, like, they're the total, like, I'm not talking about gender differences or weight differences. The Iconics are the total packages right now. They have everything you need to succeed in the WWE. They're everything.
They are everything!
Yes.
I love Peyton's new, like, bit where she does impersonations. It's the best. It's the best. And Billy sells it so well. She's like, it's like I'm in the ring.
Who am I calling on the phone? Wait,
I mean, if I had to choose, Billy's my favorite, but Peyton's doing a great job.
Well, I mean, Billy, again, someone that I've followed when she was in Shimmer as just like a cotton candy face. It really put it over in my head that for some of these independent talents, NXT can work as this finishing school.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the two of them...
Really with them.
Absolutely
because they were pretty good wrestlers, but like they got to next level wrestling and then just like really figured out their
character work. Their character work became that in NXT when neither of them were there in the independents at all.
And they weren't there in NXT for like the first year.
Right.
Until they really like paired up.
But then WWE chose to move them up at the right time, which is a thing that they fuck up sometimes.
Right.
And
I was pissed when they didn't show up in the Rumble, but they really moved them up at the right time. Post-Mania was the right time.
Yes. I got worried.
Also, they had to recover from their boob jobs, but whatever.
But, you know, great for them if that's what they felt like they wanted to do with themselves. Yeah. Also, those boob jobs look nice. I'm just saying.
They look great.
Yeah.
They're the best. Also, I like Peyton with short hair. I think it looks really good.
Sure.
There's a backstage interview with Renee and AJ where AJ talked about his, like, get in the club. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about how fucking good Renee looked this episode. She looked fine on Raw, like just normal Renee, like in a sweater or whatever, like sweater vest dressed thing.
That white top.
She looked
on SmackDown.
The white top with the half bun and the like maroon lips.
Glamorous as
fuck. Are you kidding me, Renee? I was like, And in this moment, I just thought about how Dean Ambrose has been off TV for a long time, and I miss him.
But he gets to watch his hot wife do stuff on TV.
Yeah, he does have a hot-ass wife.
He has a really hot-ass wife.
Hot-ass wife who's also, like, seems like real chill.
And intelligent and smart and funny. So, like,
she's the best.
Yeah, it's the best.
I mean, Dean seems fine, but, like, Renee's great.
We all know Renee's
the catch here.
Renee's the daddy. Yeah.
I am the less excited that they have talked about Sanity and they've, like, kind of talked about CN. Like, I think it's because they have nothing to do for Gurr, but, like, I want to see them.
Yeah.
It feels very NXT to have these packages and not see the people.
I mind it less with Andrade because they can get him over more in promos. And because he was in the Rumble. And because he was in the Rumble. But Sanity got themselves over by their in-ring work. Right. More than their package work.
And, like, the packages that showed on NXT before they debuted weren't packages of them. It was just, like, random scary noises and sounds.
It was just like random clips from disaster movies. And that was what Sanity was. Where they really come across is in the ring. And they need to put them on TV as soon as they can.
They really do. Yeah. I hope it happens, like, immediately after Gurr. Immediately after Gurr. Okay.
Also, Nikki, I miss you, and Nikki, you belong with them, and please come.
I hope that she's going to come out as, like, a surprise.
Yes.
And, like, blindside their opponents. That makes sense to me, but when has WWE ever made sense? So, last week, people were a little upset with how they used Naomi. I am not upset with how they're using her. I thought her, like, magic dance moves were, like, smart, and the way that her husband was like, I can handle it, and she was like, no, dum-dum, like, I'm going to help. You don't tell me what to do. You're part of my family. I can also protect my family. That was great. They better be really careful with this storyline because logically, the next step after this storyline is Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are really mad at Naomi and do something to Naomi. Intergender match? Fine. That's not going to happen. History of WWE? A weird kidnap story happens. Or a weird stalking story. Or a weird other story happens. So, like, I'm very concerned at the next step of this story.
You're so right, because we have next to no information about what the Bludgeon Brothers' deal is. Yeah. And, like, what their
other than Naomi being like, I looked into their eyes and I saw nothing.
Right.
Because indie history would be like intergender match or something like that. Even NXT, like maybe Naomi
or the
gets
Bludgeons
involved.
Get some kind of female equivalent to negate Naomi, yeah.
I don't see any of that happening. And like history of WWE is next step is an awful step. So I'm like worried about that awful step. Specifically also because Naomi is one of my like top 5 favorite wrestlers in the entire world. And it's like one of my ride or dies. And like, I don't think I can emotionally handle that.
I agree that this week, all of that was implemented so successfully. I was very entertained by that match. I got all of, like, the backstage promo set it up perfectly of just, you know, him being like, you know, don't you trust me? I can handle this on my own. She's like, no, you need to trust me.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you. And the 3 of them celebrating together at the end of that match was just like, haha, we won. This is it. We're family.
With my magic dance moves.
With my magic booty shaking dance moves. Also, the Bludgeon Brothers being transfixed on her was sold really, really well.
Agreed.
Both of them did really, really well. I'm a huge supporter of Luke Harper. I hope at some point
in this house we are Luke Harper fans.
Yeah.
Just not Brown fans.
But you're right. I hope this doesn't go into a weird Kane situation.
Yeah, it just feels like the next step.
I didn't see it until right now, but you're right. That's where this could go, and
scary.
It's scary, and I don't want it.
Just gonna let it go and hope that they don't do anything. Well, like Naomi can't be at GER, so like maybe something happens at GER and then they can just like move past the story.
I hope
and
so.
they don't have to have like a weird kidnap story or
right.
something. Because Carmella and Cleopatra had a contract signed with Charlotte. I love that Mella was like, I'm just gonna play this video until you all appreciate me, and then Charlotte comes out and it's just like face table to face.
That's it. Charlotte just had to like come out, say woo, and then
sign a contract, say woo, and then flip a table onto Carmella's face.
Carmella didn't even sign the contract. They had to work that out in a WWE.com YouTube video. It was
also,
so fucking funny.
Renee being like, Carmella, please be a professional. Please sit down and act professionally. Carmella.
Mella, Patra, please work with us.
That whole segment was actually great.
Because they're 2 great characters.
3 great characters.
That's right. That's right. No, you can't overlook Renee in this situation. You're absolutely
in this segment,
correct.
She was pivotal.
Absolutely.
Renee had a great show, actually. Like the scene with AJ, the stuff with Mella and Charlotte, then the segment where she went to talk to Rusev, and Rusev was like, "No interviews."
Aiden was.
Aiden. When she went to talk to Rusev, and Aiden was like, "No interviews." And then the segment she had with Daniel, where Daniel gave his like promo, like I've been through worse. Like Renee crushed it.
And
Renee for life.
And if they're not going to give her after shows, like talking smack and all of that, fuck yes, make her the glue. Make her the go-to person and all of that. Absolutely.
I also like that on 205 Live, Dasha is starting to get a character, and her character is, I ask inappropriate questions at inappropriate times.
Yes.
I ask biting and cutting questions right after you lose a match. That is Dasha's character.
Tony Nese, how you feeling right now, buddy?
She's done it several times over the past couple weeks, and I love that her character does not know how to read a room.
Oh my god.
It's really good.
Because that's how you make those people more than just, I am here as robot to convey after questions to put over talent. Like, it needs more than that. That's why Mean Gene is so famous, was because he was more than just the guy backstage.
Charlie does a good job.
Charlie Crusoe does a great job.
But she had to get there.
Yeah.
Renee had to get there too. Dasha still needs work, but I hope that they push it further, because her like asking the worst questions is the best. Okay, United States title picture. Whatever. Shelton Benjamin's there, and then Jeff's there, but then it's Randy, and then there's a fight and then Jeff's on the outside looking very bored, but then Randy and Shelton are fighting, but then there's a Singh brother, and then Randy loses. Whatever. 2 things to note.
1.
one, good for Shelton. He won. Like, he won.
Great for putting over Shelton Benjamin. Fuck
great
yes.
for putting over Shelton Benjamin. 2, can we please acknowledge that the true feud of the century is Randy Orton versus the Singh brothers?
Absolutely, yes.
Randy, I just want like a super cut up all the time Randy Orton has just taken out a Singh brother. It's like his sole mission in life to murder the Singh brothers.
I want that to be a handicap match at some point again. And just, yes.
Him just like, oh, what, you're a Singh brother? Murder.
I don't mind how open that playing field feels right now for those mid-card titles.
It doesn't, I would agree with you, but in the context of the United States Championship, the 2 weeks that they've done the like one person's music hits, but then another person's music hit, and that's like supersedes the first, like that storytelling wise is weird and doesn't make sense to me.
Sure.
So I want them to figure that out. But it obviously just seems like they're building up to Randy versus Jeff.
And they're also kind of buying time for Jeff while he's still selling that knee injury or whatever.
I want Randy to go away.
I want Randy Orton to go away. But Randy Orton actually put on in ring a really good match against Shelton this week.
I'm just going to chalk it up to it was Shelton that did all the work.
I'm fine with you giving Shelton Benjamin that.
Shelton gets all the credit. Fuck
shout
Randy
outs
Orton.
to Suzuki Gun, shout outs to Shelton next bench. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, Shelton Benjamin, when he was away from WWE, was over in Pro Wrestling Noah with Minoru Suzuki and his faction.
Cool.
Nerds. Everybody. Yeah. And his name over there was, because it's really dumb, Shelton X Benjamin, and that's how he got around using Shelton Benjamin.
I love that.
Yeah.
X Benjamin. How do you feel about Nakamura's new song?
I fucking love it.
I love it.
It's almost better than the original.
They had to do it because the song is so over with the fans, and you're always going to have the fans being like, what?
So, like, the things that they built in there was, it's still a good theme. It's still a good theme. It's still the music that was present there.
But now there are angry Japanese lyrics.
It's powerful, and it's something that Shinsuke can groove to as he's going out. And
which is the important part. Shinsuke still needs to be able to groove.
Shinsuke still needs to be able to groove. But then you've also kind of built in this pop when down the line somewhere he maybe becomes face again and comes out to the original theme.
Yep. Pinchasa! Thank you, EC3, for Pinchasa.
Oh, that's absolutely what's going on right now. I'm ready for heel Shinsuke. Heel Shinsuke was very, very effective in New Japan, if you want to go back and look at that stuff. Touch on his matches with Kota Ibushi there. Some of his stuff
Touch on Kota Ibushi.
Touch on Kota Ibushi all you want. Golly. But look up, Chaos originally being kind of a heelish faction, Shinsuke's involvement and all of that. This is... Everyone shat on, like, that dream match with him and AJ not living up to it, but
it did live up to it because you got the turn. This
is what you got out of it, and that's why that mattered, and I'm so for it now. Because they're realizing Shinsuke can sell anything right now. And if Shinsuke just comes out and sits on the apron and then, gives a Kinshasa to the back of Luke Gallows' head, wins a match, punches AJ in the dick, and then beats up Carl Anderson, like, that's all he needed to do. He's the fucking rock star. That's it.
Kinshasa! I just want Corey Graves to yell Kinshasa.
Just for once.
Kinshasa!
That's all I need.
Any other thoughts about wrestling this week? In a world. I feel like
in a world.
Because these microphones are so fancy.
I think SmackDown is still winning after the Superstar shakeup.
Yeah, and I think they did a better job highlighting their women despite not having shit for them to do this weekend.
Right.
Whereas on Raw, they were like, be in this weird tag match. And in SmackDown, they were like, continue the storyline that will continue after Friday. Because
Friday doesn't matter for us at all. I felt, as someone who is just starting to take deep notice of the WWE brand because I'm going to spend a month on this podcast, I enjoyed watching SmackDown a lot more than I did Raw. So I'll say that kind of surprised because I like a lot of the talents that are on Raw right now. But SmackDown felt like a more well-produced product trying to get their talent over.
SmackDown had ebbs and flows, but right now it definitely feels like a more succinct show, and not just because it's shorter.
Right. Well, but that definitely plays a factor as well. It has to.
All right.
All
Before we do our tags, final question for you.
Oh, shit.
This is from Henry T. Casey and caused a lot of stir on the internet. Marry, fuck, kill The Shield.
Oh. Yeah, so now we're getting into, like, personal life sexuality stuff. It's hard. As far as, like, my personal feelings go, I'm a pacifist, so I don't feel good killing
Marry, fuck, maim
any of those boys.
We can maim one of them.
Do they consent to this maiming? Because I think Dean likes it dirty.
Marry, fuck, shun. Does that make you feel better? Marry, fuck, ignore.
All right, marry, fuck, ignore. I'm kind of cool with. Roman's gonna do all right on his own. I envy Renee, so like I want to marry Dean, but only because then I want to be Renee. So maybe that's not the best path because I could never be Renee. So maybe I marry Seth and I fuck Dean if it's cool with Renee.
And ignore Roman.
Yeah, he'll do fine on his own. I'm not worried about Roman.
I gotta fuck Roman because of my vampire novel.
Yeah, sure. For research.
For research. Gotta fuck Roman for my research, which leaves a very tough decision. But I think Seth probably likes himself too much. So I'll marry Dean and I'll fuck Roman for research.
Yes.
And then ignore. Quote unquote, Seth.
He's probably going to yell, burn it down from the adjacent room while you're banging Roman. I believe Henry also asked the same question with British Strong Style.
Oh, yeah.
It's a completely different answer. I'm taking all three of those boys out with me. Those are three very cute boys.
No, that's a cheating answer.
I don't care.
It's cheating.
I don't care. Shit. Okay.
It's cheating. Okay. Real answers only. This is serious journalism.
I think Tyler Bates really vanilla in bed.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I marry Trent.
Yeah, marry Trent, fuck Pete.
Ignore
Tyler.
Right. Because I would never kill him. He's needed in this world. He's adorable.
I don't know. Those thighs.
Yeah, right. Oh, God.
I love some thigh meat.
Yes, that's true.
Why do you think I like Drew? I love them thigh meat.
Just lifting. I don't know. Cute boys.
Cute boys. All right. The end. Plug your shit, bro.
Yeah, I would say just find me on Twitter at Haberdasher9K.
And at Getting Slutty.
Yeah. Find the at Getting Slutty stuff through that.
I want to talk about poly queer dicks and stuff.
Right. Outside of that, I'm a theater performer and a burlesque performer, so like the shit Stella plugs with Plan 9, that's my shit too.
Robbie's my co-producer.
Yeah.
We founded that company together.
So do that. Support your local independent wrestling promotion. Support your local anarcho-punk band. Buy local beer.
Yeah. Shop local. We got it.
Hug your mom. I don't know, kids.
As always, I'm at Stella_Cheeks. You can find Erin at ErinGNC.
In Germany.
You can find us at Not Your Demo on Twitter, and you can find us on iTunes where you can rate, review, and subscribe. And you should email us if you want at notyourdemo@gmail.com. And you should find us on Kate's side where you should click around and pay Gino's bills.
If you have questions or comments or concerns for me in my next 3 weeks on the show, just come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Make this the show that you want. I am here to serve the people.
To serve the people. We got 2 words for you. So just say Brie mode. Ugh. Sometimes I just don't.
Yeah.
I was listening. I lost my notes.
It's okay.
Put a new face on an old kitchen. The Home Depot's cabinet experts can reface your kitchen cabinets for a mini makeover in a fraction of the time. And right now, you can get an extra 15% off. Our licensed local experts can get the job done right away. So don't face another year in an outdated kitchen. Try refacing it. Get huge savings now. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through April 25th, 2018. License numbers available at homedepot.com/license numbers, including 85434424144. Put a new face on an old kitchen. The Home Depot's cabinet experts can reface your kitchen cabinets for a mini makeover in a fraction of the time. And right now, you can get an extra 15% off. Our licensed local experts can get the job done right away. So don't face another year in an outdated kitchen. Try refacing it. Get huge savings now. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through April 25th, 2018. License numbers available at homedepot.com/license numbers, including 85434424144.